Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
The Diamondbacks went into Hollywood and swept the Dodgers with some improved pitching and the destructive power of Paul Goldschmidt's bat. Paul Goldschmidt did it again! That ball is Goldie, gone! 4 home runs in 3 games here at Dodger Stadium. Tonight, lefty Patrick Corbin takes the mound, looking to continue his unbeaten season. Game 1 versus the Phillies next on Fox Sports Arizona.
Back home in the Arizona desert, the Diamondbacks back from San Diego and Los Angeles, fresh off a sweep of the Dodgers, and back home here at Chase Field to open up a 7-game homestand over the weekend, beginning tonight with 4 against the Philadelphia Phillies. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. The Diamondbacks and Phillies tonight, Bob, playing the first of 4. Although, before we start this homestand, let's take one final look back at what turned out to be a terrific 4-2 road trip, notably because of the offense.
And let's savor it just a little bit more. Yeah, you can see the numbers offensively for the Diamondbacks. It had been such a struggle through the first month of the season to find any kind of offensive consistency, those sustained rallies, but they were able to do it on that last road trip, thanks in part to the long ball. Cody Ross, Paul Goldschmidt just put on an exhibition down at Dodger Stadium. Ideally, you hope you come back here to the friendly confines of Chase Field and continue what they did on that road trip.
9 home runs and 20 extra base hits in 6 games in San Diego and Los Angeles. Now it's back home here, a 4-7, and we started off with Patrick Corbin.
Good place to start.
Yeah.
Patrick Corbin has been by far the most consistent starter for the D-backs in the early going this season. Perfect record at 4-0. ERA still under 2 on the season. Commanding that slider on both sides of the plate. He has been a real discovery in that rotation for the Diamondbacks.
Patrick Corbin looks to remain unbeaten on the season. A good matchup of lefties here tonight with Corbin facing the Phillies' Cole Hamels. When we come back here, much more on the Diamondbacks and Phillies from Chase Field here on Fox Sports Arizona. Sweeping in a chase. Swept the Dodgers in 3, and now it's 4 against the Phillies. Back with more after this.
Diamondbacks begin a 7-game homestand with a 4-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Here on the field, Jody Jackson with you as we wind our way toward first pitch. And tonight, the Diamondbacks return to Chase. When they left here on May 1st, they were coming off a sweep at the hands of the San Francisco Giants. So they went on the road in search of answers and trying to get a little bit of their swagger back. Well, they lost 2 of 3 in San Diego, but they got it back and then some against the LA Dodgers. After the last 3 games at Chavez Ravine, this team is feeling pretty good about themselves.
It's a lot more fun when you're winning and playing well. So obviously we go out there and play as hard as we can every night. And sometimes it's a win. Other times, we come up short. But go out the next day, do the best you can, see what happens.
Last 3 games have been big for us. Pulling out some tough wins there, and we'll just keep rolling with it. And hopefully more home runs from Goldschmidt and a couple more wins.
With those 2 guys going right now, it's get Hilly back and Kubi swinging, and some of the middle lineup guys. I think the best baseball is yet to come for this team.
Well, Eric Chavez with a great look at the big picture for this team, and they have been playing to the scoreboard. You look at a win like last night's 3-2 over the Dodgers. They've been pitching well. Paul Goldschmidt, as Kirk Gibson said, well, he's put the team on his back. They're looking to spread out that offense a little bit more over this 4-game series against the Phillies. Well, Patrick Corbin tonight goes for his 5th win of the year. He looks to go 5-0. It's a battle of lefties as Cole Hamels looks to continue his progress after a rough start to the season. That matchup coming up next.
Managing his 1,332nd game, he's about to take sole possession of first place on the Phillies' all-time games managed list, passing Bob Brenly, the great Gene Mauch.
How about that? Charlie Manuel, very unassuming guy, as country as they come. Every day in a uniform is a good day for Charlie Manuel.
They are sputtering somewhat. They come in here tonight 3 games under 500 at 16-19, 5 back of the Braves in the NL East, and this is the Phillies lineup tonight.
What appears on paper to be a very formidable offensive lineup has not been that way through the early going this season. A lot of guys well below their career numbers. Obviously got to keep an eye on Ryan Howard, a guy with tremendous power to all parts of the ballpark. Michael Young off to a real good start in his first season in the National League.
The new addition from the Texas Rangers has worked out nicely. Ryan Howard is swinging a hot bat lately. Batting cleanup tonight. Arizona 4, Diamondback starting pitcher is the unbeaten Patrick Corbin.
Earlier this season, I mentioned Patrick Corbin's name in the same breath with Steve Carlton, the former Philly great, only in the fact he's got very similar stuff, the big high fastball, four-seamer, and the sweeping slider. Matched up against Cole Hamels tonight, another lefty that I'm sure he'll pay close attention to from the dugout when Hamels is on the mound.
Jimmy Rollins bunts it foul to lead us off.
That's been one thing, Steve, that's been really impressive for the young Diamondbacks, how much they pay attention to guys who have had success in this game and try to learn a little bit from them.
And Jimmy Rollins would be one of those guys. A Phillies record 43 career leadoff homers as he steps in here. Rollins at 242, a homer and 9 RBIs. Third base, Martin Prado is there. One away. Defensively for the Arizona Diamondbacks, defensive runs saved update. A.J. Pollock, 7 defensive runs saved. He rates as the second best defensive center fielder in the National League, behind only Milwaukee's Carlos Gomez. Defensive runs saved, by the way, determines how many more or fewer plays a defensive player makes over league average.
Diamondbacks still leading Major League Baseball, all of baseball, with their 7 errors. That's low. The Detroit Tigers with 10, and they're not nearly as rangy a ball club as the Diamondbacks are.
Chase Utley looks at a ball, 1-0 now. Utley 276, 7 home runs already and 24 RBIs. He's got that famous sort of quick short stroke. It's a power stroke from the left-hand side.
Every hitter's a little bit different in their approach before that ball is released, but Chase Utley always looks like he wants to take one last practice swing before Patrick Corbin delivers the ball.
One and two now. Utley has hit in 3 straight games. He has 5 for his last 13. He does have 3 home runs in this ballpark, but he has not hit well at Chase Field. A 171 average in 20 games here. Nice to be back home.
Oh, sure is. What a great way to finish a road trip. Who would have thought going to San Diego and L.A. that San Diego was the team that would give you the most trouble on the road trip?
I think the NL West is going to kind of be like that this year. Everybody is going to take their turns at everybody else, and it's going to really be a swamp that you're going to have to slog through, and some of it's not going to make any sense like that.
And I think I don't know, it's hard to say judged on what we saw in 3 games in LA, but I think the Dodgers at some point will hit a stride, will start to score runs in bunches, get their pitching staff back together, and they will be a force to be reckoned with. We caught them at just the right time, however.
Yeah, they are down right now big time. Center field. A.J. Pollock drifting over toward left in front of Cody Ross. 2 down.
And that's the case with Major League Baseball. Many times it's not so much who you're playing, it's when you play them.
Yep.
Caught the Dodgers at absolutely a perfect time for the D-backs, struggling on every aspect of the game.
2 outs for Patrick Corbin. Here is former Rangers great Michael Young in his first season as a Philadelphia Philly, and so far so good. 322, a homer and 9 RBIs. He has hit safely in 7 of his last 11 games, batting .341 over that span. He leads the Phillies this season with 38 hits and 14 walks. And Bob, when you look back over the career that this guy's had, it really is something. 7 times at All-Star. Led the majors in hitting at .331 back in 2005. Even better 2 years ago when he hit .338.
Well, and the numbers are obviously off the charts impressive, but what really impresses you is his willingness to change positions seemingly every year depending on what the team needs.
Cliff Pennington at second. There's a 1-2-3 first for Patrick Corbin. Off to a good start here at Chase Field. We'll go bottom 1, no score. 405. The offense coming alive in May, hitting .279 so far this month with 10 homers and 37 RBIs. And Kirk Gibson sends this lineup out against Cole Hamels.
And some subtle changes in the lineup for Kirk Gibson. He's trying to find a spot for Martin Prado to get his bat jump started. He's down there in the 6th spot tonight.
A.J. Pollock leads it off. There's the strike, 0-1. Pollock, Gregorius, and Goldie here in the top of the first against Cole Hamels. High in the air to right field. Delman Young coming in. Utley from second base. He'll take it in shallow right. One away. Here is the lineup. Cody Ross back to the cleanup spot. Martin Prado hitting 6th.
A.J. Pollock leading off against the lefty. Didi Gregorius getting playing time against left-handers now, and why not, carrying a batting average over 400. A lot of energy on the bases, and Paul Goldschmidt about as hot as a hitter can possibly be right now.
Bob, personally, I love the idea of just putting Didi out there every day. Lefty, righty, doesn't matter. Let him play.
And we talked about it a few days ago. He played against righties and lefties in the minor leagues, played every day.
Drives it to center. Ben Revere backing up at the track, looking up, and it's off the wall. Look at Didi Gregorius go. He'll stop at second with a one-out double.
So you really think he ought to be in there against lefties?
I was kind of saying.
Wow. Didi just doesn't give against left-handed pitchers. Keeps that front shoulder, the front hip right in there. Got a pitch on the inside part of the plate. Drove it to straightaway center with authority.
Well, on the road trip to San Diego and L.A., he hit .400, went 6 for 15, and he's back home, and he starts it off. And speaking of offense, in steps Paul Goldschmidt, leading the National League with 30 RBIs. (0-1). Goldie now up to 320. 9 homers, the 30 ribbies, leads the NL. The OPS is over 1,000. That's on base percentage plus slugging percentage. And one of the things, Bob, we saw on the road was how he can grind out at bats. In fact, Goldie is now 3rd in the major leagues in pitches per plate appearance at 4.44.
And we talked about it in LA. That's such an unusual talent for a middle of the lineup run producer. Usually those guys are very free swingers, a lot of swings and misses. Paul Goldschmidt, when he gets to 2 strikes, he can really shorten up, just make contact, stay alive, and give that pitcher an opportunity to make a mistake. Chases one in the dirt that time.
2 outs now. A reminder, every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. Cody Ross 2 for 4 in the cleanup spot last night at Dodger Stadium. Gorgeous night here at Chase Field. Absolutely perfect. Shortstop Rollins. Diamondbacks get the 1-out double. They strand one. We're through 1. No score here at Chase. second inning here. Diamondbacks and Phillies, first of 4 this weekend. We hope to see out here at Chase Field. And we've got another, Bob, dysfunctional couple. If the Phillies win, she buys me a puppy. I can't read that other one.
I think if the Diamondbacks win, he buys her a kitten.
Uh-oh. Cats. That's a deal breaker. Ryan Howard, Delman Young, and Dominic Brown, 4, 5, and 6 here in the second inning against Patrick Corbin.
Not a cat guy, huh?
I am not.
Okay.
A cat guy. But if you have a cat, go in peace. And the shift is on. Look at this.
And this is not the first time today the Diamondbacks have done this. They actually worked on this shift earlier this afternoon. Matt Williams was at home plate with a fungo bat, and the Diamondbacks lined up in this exaggerated pull shift. And just to see how it would play, Matty hit ground balls out into right field. He hit them up the middle of the field. All the guys moved accordingly.
Prado is playing third tonight, but he's standing exactly where he would be if he were playing second base. And Cliff Pennington is out there in shallow right. Pennington at second tonight, Prado at third, but look where Prado is right there in front of the umpire.
I really like this idea. We've talked about it before. Your shortstop is the guy that has the best range, so why not leave him as the sole defender on the left side of the infield so he can cover the most ground?
Well, you got to figure something out against Ryan Howard because the bat has come alive. There's a shot from behind. Howard hitting .322 over his last 24 games, 9 doubles and 5 home runs. Struck him out. First strikeout tonight for Patrick Corbin. 1 down here in the second.
Well, part of the improvement for Ryan Howard has been his success against left-handed pitchers. Before this at bat, he started the season 0 for 13 against lefties, but over his last 10 games, he's now 6 for 19 with 4 extra base hits.
And now the defense will reset back to normal here for Delman Young, the right fielder. First pitch swinging, and he knocks it down the right field line. It dies out there in foul ground. Parra over to pick it up, and the throw. And they got Delman Young. Gerardo Parra picked it up, fired it in. Delman Young was running so slow he'd have to speed up to stop.
Running like he's mad at the ground. Man. Late swing produces that ground ball just inside the first baseline. Gerardo Parra loves it when runners attempt to take an extra base. Well, you can't do it any better than that. Scooped it up barehanded. All Didi has to do is catch that ball at second base, and Young's going to be out.
That's why we show you the stat defensive runs saved with our defensive graphics. That's a great example of a defensive run saved by Gerardo Parra, who ranks among the elite among National League outfielders. Dominic Brown now. Boy, I'm still stunned at how slowly Delman Young was running. And he was going full speed. He just didn't have another gear. Yeah, it was, yep, just like that, G. He's always talking to the opposing bullpen. Now he's branched out to the opposing dugout all the way out there from right field. Well, you can understand, Bob, why Delman Young may have wanted more. He was off to a 3 for 23 start this season. And Dominic Brown is kind of in the same boat. He is 1 for his last 18 up there. Yes, he went. That's the strikeout. Second strikeout of the inning for Patrick Corbin. Gerardo Parra with a defensive run saved. And he throws out Delman Young. Will go bottom 2 at Chase. No score. in part by Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Gila River, another proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Each team with one hit so far, no score. Bottom two here at Chase Field. Miguel Montero, Martin Prado, and Gerardo Parra against Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels here. Hamels gave up one hit in the first, a Didi Gregorius double deep off the center field wall.
Now, before we get much deeper in this game, we should point out Cole Hamels throws a fastball. He throws a cut fastball, which has gotten him into some trouble lately. He's given up a couple of home runs with that cutter. Also has a really good straight changeup.
And that changeup, when it's working, is one of the best pitches in baseball. But they have not scored runs for Cole Hamels, so the record is not nearly as indicative of how well he's pitched. There has been an offensive drought, to say the least, in Philadelphia this year, and it's been biting Hamels all year long.
His first couple starts, he kind of reverted to his rookie form. When he first came up to the majors with the Phillies, he was a guy that was his own worst enemy. He used to get extremely upset out there on the mound, a bad call by the umpire, bad defensive play behind him. And started to show some signs of that in his first two starts this year, but has settled in nicely since then.
Miggy strikes out, one away. Second strikeout for Hamels. Yeah, Cole Hamels pitched very well in his last start. He was out-dueled by the Marlins' 20-year-old phenom, Jose Fernandez, who, by the way, is destined for stardom in the big leagues. The Phillies had one hit against Fernandez in 7 innings. He struck out 9, clocked at 97 in his final inning. Martin Prado now. Martin in there at 227, 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. Hard to right. In front of Delman Young. Prado aboard with a 1-out single. Second hit for the Diamondbacks against Cole Hamels.
Right field, number 8.
Kind of an unusual looking outfield for the Phillies. You've got a couple of subpar defenders on the corners in Dominic Brown and Delman Young, but you got one of the better defenders in all of baseball in center field in Ben Revere. He's got a lot of work out there.
He's going to have to find a way basically to cover the entire outfield.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because the corners.
Well, the Phillies had a center fielder for years back in the 70s.
Gary Maddox.
Yeah, they said, what was it? 80% of the earth is covered by water. The other 20% is covered by Gary Maddox.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but you get the idea.
Parra at 299, 2 homers and 9 RBIs. The on-base percentage at 367. The pool and spa back in full operation here at the RamTrucks.com pool area. You can hear the flowing water out there. Soothing.
Babbling brook.
The game that Hamels pitched against Jose Fernandez last time out, just the 3rd time in the 10-year history of Citizens Bank Ballpark that the Phillies managed only 1 hit for the entire game. And it was another case of no run support, which, as we've mentioned, has been a big issue for Hamels this year.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
No tacos for Phillies fans. They have scored 3 runs or fewer in 4 of Hamels' last 5 starts, including getting shut out twice. All right. We'll get to the bottom of that. So 3 runs or fewer in 4 of Hamels' last 5 starts. He is 1-2 over that span, despite the fact his ERA in those games is 2.31. Phillies only 1-4 in his last 5 starts because they just haven't scored. Something's in the air tonight.
Yeah.
There's a Fanatic hat. It's the Philly Fanatic mascot, it appears to be, on top of her head there. Stands out in the crowd.
Yes, it does.
Three and two now. Cliff Pennington on deck. Left field, Dominic Brown. That drops in. That's a fair ball. Martin Prado heads for third. Oh, Matt Williams put the brakes on. Get back there, and now he's hung up. Matty Williams changed his mind a little too late, and Prado was hung out to dry. He was windmilling him in, and then whoop, and by then it was too late.
Mentioned the adventures that Dominic Brown has had in left field for the Phillies this year. He really had trouble getting to that ball. Took a bad line to begin with. By the time he ran it down, Matt Williams thought the D-backs had a chance to score a run here. Good relay throw back to the infield. There you see Martin Prado after rounding the bag out in no man's land. Michael Young comes in and applies the tag.
Gerardo Parra on base again. Here's Cliff Pennington. The ball hits that fence out there by the Diamondbacks bullpen, and there's a lot of give there, so it doesn't carry him off that wall at all. It just kind of dies there. And Brown had to go in there and pick it up. Center field. Ben Revere. Nope. There's Utley in shallow right, and that's the inning. So the Diamondbacks can't get run across. We're through two, no score.
Don't get the best of it.
There's just some, strain in the pronator muscle and a sprain of the UCL, which is not great, but it could have been a lot worse. Just tried to not really try to play doctor and figure out what I thought it was. I was just going to wait and see what the MRI said, and I sat down with the doctor last night and went over it and was pretty pleased and a big sigh of relief.
JJ Putz with our Geico quote of the game. I asked him if it was a difficult Tuesday evening waiting to see if he would maybe even need to have surgery, but it appears he will not have surgery, just be able to rehab this. He said he dodged a bullet, so there is some relief there, but Kirk Gibson said he will be shut down for a couple of weeks. They're optimistic, of course, he'll be able to come back at some point this season, but he won't be picking up a ball for a while. He also said, for right now then, I'll be the biggest cheerleader.
Carlos Ruiz hit by a pitch. He appears to be okay. So the leadoff man on here in the Phillies' third.
It's unusual to see Patrick Corbin uncork one like that. They were trying to come inside with a fastball, just got away from him, caught Ruiz on the left forearm, ricocheted right past his face.
So the leadoff man on for the Phillies here in the third, and here is Ben Revere. 234, no homers and 5 RBIs. Ben Revere hitting .412 in May, 7 for 17 to start the month. He hit only 200 in 23 games in April. Phillies acquired him in December in a deal for Trevor May and Vance Worley from Minnesota. It was a trade the Twins felt they had to make, given the near total void of starting pitching in the Minnesota system. And they have a pair of young outfielders they really like, both up at the big leagues now, Aaron Hicks and Osvaldo Arcia. So Revere was expendable, and now he's playing center field for the Phillies.
Anytime you see a Philly hitter other than the pitcher square around to bunt, you can be pretty sure he's doing it on his own. Charlie Manuel hates to bunt.
Charlie's an old hitting coach. He'd rather see him hit. Three and one now.
Yeah, Revere is the only position player on the Phillies with a sac bunt this year. He has 2 on the season. And I would venture to guess that both of them were attempts to bunt for a base hit and advanced a runner and got credit for a sac bunt.
There goes Ruiz. Goldie at first. Paul Goldschmidt. Ruiz taking off on the pitch, so he's safely in there at second. No chance to get him, but another dazzling defensive play, Bob, by Paul Goldschmidt at first.
I tell you, he gets as far off the bag after holding on a runner when the pitch is delivered to home plate. Watch Goldie come off that bag. He gets 2 or 3 big crow hops to his right, which allows him to plug that hole. That ball looked like it was headed for right field, but Goldie able to intercept it and get the out at first.
So 1 out now. Ruiz on second. Here's Cole Hamels. Drives it in the air. Left hand side. Cody Ross gives chase, and it's out of play. Hamels does have a hit this year. He's 1 for 13 with 6 strikeouts. You can see Ruiz taking off on that last play, and Goldie just smothered it. Because if that gets through, Ruiz is on third easily, even for a catcher. One and one now. Goldie one more time. Ruiz to third, 2 down.
A lot of major league teams would have bunted with their pitcher there with a runner at second base and 1 out already in the inning, but I mentioned it earlier, Charlie just doesn't like to give up outs. Cole Hamels, a pretty good athlete, swings the bat pretty well for a pitcher. He'd rather take his chances that Hamels going to get a base hit than give up an out and move Ruiz to third base.
So a chance here for Jimmy Rollins. He grounded out his first time up. Prado. They strand the leadoff runner. Will go bottom third. No score here at Chase Field. over the weekend here. Fun times in the Ram Trucks pool. Great place to watch a game. Folks out there tonight, great night to be here. Panels open, roof open, just a perfect night. Absolutely gorgeous. Water's flowing out there, bubbling brook, the whole thing. Sounds like a Sharper Image store when they play that sound machine.
Yeah. Babbling brook, thunderstorm.
It's like a Robert Frost poem out there. Here's Patrick Corbin. Patrick 1 for 12 with a double. He's struck out 6 times. As we heard Jody Jackson tell us, the news on JJ encouraging. Jay Sutley. One away here in the third.
Center fielder, A.J. Pollock.
AJ's got to work on his pacing. As a leadoff hitter, sometimes you have to slow the game down a little to give your pitcher a chance to get back in the dugout. You see Patrick Corbin just now getting back to that third base dugout. AJ's already in the box ready to hit.
That's kind of the way he plays, though.
Yeah.
Popped up to second his first time up. One and one now. Cole Hamels did not get off to a good start this year. He was hit hard in both his first 2 starts. Allowed 3 home runs in an opening day loss to the Braves. In his next start, the Royals got him for 8 runs on 9 hits in less than 6 innings. He also walked 4 in that start. Yes, he went, says Vic Carapazza down at first. It was the first time in his career that Hamels had allowed 8 earned runs in a game, and the first time he'd ever given up a grand slam. Billy Butler, country breakfasts, got him in that game for Kansas City. So there was a lot of concern about Cole Hamels in Philadelphia 2 starts in. Strikes out Pollock, his 3rd strikeout, 2 down.
I don't know if you had a chance to notice that's a Juan Uribe bat. Juan Uribe plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but Martin Prado is getting it ready for an at-bat, taping the handle a little bit. Not uncommon for players that have friends on opposing teams. What are you swinging right now? How's it feeling? My bat feels a little too heavy, feels a little too light, the handle's a little too thin. Got that blue stripe on it, though. That's not good.
My concern is, has he seen Uribe hit?
Well, he figures there's a lot of hits left in those bats.
There has to be. Didi Gregorius doubled off the center field wall his first time up. Mentioned that Hamels had a rough time in his first 2 starts. Told reporters that he was feeling good with all his pitches, just results weren't there. And he has been better since. He followed with 2 no decisions and another loss in his next 3 starts, although he did pitch well. In those 3 starts, the Phillies scored a total of 4 runs. And as we mentioned earlier, that has been the recurrent theme this year with Hamels. No run support.
Yeah, last time out against the Marlins, went 8 strong innings, gave up only 4 hits. Unfortunately for him, 2 of those were solo homers. He lost 2-0.
Hamels didn't get his first victory this year until April 28th against the Mets. Utley charges in. A 1-2-3 third for Cole Hamels. We're through 3. No score.
By signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game. And not only to get to play Kachinko, win valuable prizes. Tonight's contestant had a Paul Goldschmidt game piece autograph that he got to take home.
And he landed on the DB logo. He gets to throw in a first pitch.
How about that?
I mean, that's a great deal. Chase Utley, Michael Young, and Ryan Howard here. 2, 3, and 4 in the Phillies' fourth against Patrick Corbin on a beautiful night here at Chase. Patrick Corbin has pitched very well this season using the same formula. He gets ahead of hitters almost immediately, pounds away with a sinking two-seam fastball that he's throwing with more velocity this year. And then when he gets 2 strikes, he attacks with a slider. Especially the one that Bob Brenly calls the back foot slider, down and in from the left-hand pitcher to the right-hand hitter. And the slider, which he was bouncing or spiking at times earlier this year, has looked much more sharp and crisp as Corbin has gone on here, and it's a real weapon for him now. Up in the air left side, Cody Ross. On away. $4 cold beer, best beer in baseball, right here at Chase Field. Good night for it. Patrick Corbin has gone at least 6 innings in every start this year, while allowing 2 earned runs or fewer every time. There's Michael Young, grounded out his first time up. That streak has tied Corbin with Dan Herron for the longest such streak to start a season in Diamondbacks history. At least 6 innings with 2 earned runs or fewer every time. In his last start Saturday against the Padres in San Diego, Patrick allowed only 1 run on 5 hits and 7 with 7 strikeouts. Got his 4th win against 0 losses. And Diamondbacks assistant GM Billy Ryan says that Corbin before had always been able to get a little more velocity when he needed it, but this year he's pitching with that higher velocity more frequently. And the other point about Corbin's velocity increase this year, he's sustaining that higher velo throughout his start. This is inside there. As the pitch counts start to go up every start, even into the 90 pitch mark, Corbin's fastball velocity is still 2 miles per hour harder this season than last season. So the combination of the sinking two-seam fastball at a higher velocity and the crisp, sharp slider has made him 4-0. He's a weapon now. There's the strikeout. 3rd strikeout for Patrick Corbin. 2 down here in the 4th.
And I think that ability to carry his velocity deep into the ball game really speaks to the conditioning program that the Diamondbacks pitchers were on in spring training, preparing to put their body through the rigors of a long regular season, pitching deep into the ball game ideally, and still being effective deep into the ball game.
The shift is on for Ryan Howard. You see Martin Prado, the 3rd baseman, playing in the 2nd base spot. 2nd baseman Cliff Pennington out there in shallow right. Howard struck out his first time up, so didn't need defenders for that one.
That was his 35th strikeout on the season against only 8 base on balls. Normally he'll take his share of walks over the course of a season, has a very good eye at the plate, but I think the team's struggles early in the season has made him much more aggressive than he normally would be.
35 strikeouts in 119 at bats now for Ryan Howard.
Well, it's common to every team. I don't care what color uniform you wear, what division you're in. When your team struggles offensively, the natural tendency, especially if you're a superstar caliber player, is to try to do too much. I'm going to hit the home run that jumpstarts our offense. I'm going to expand my own strike zone so I can make something happen offensively and get us going. certainly Ryan Howard is a guy the Phillies look to get their offense going.
And when that happens collectively, oftentimes it has the opposite effect, offensive stop. That's a foul. In fact, since April 16th, the Phillies are averaging only 3.5 runs per game, which ranks 26th in baseball. They've been shut out 5 times over that span. Phillies come in here 3 under 500, 16-19, 5 back of the Braves in the NL East. They just split a 4-game series with the Marlins at home. Before heading out west, they took 2 of 3 in San Francisco. They'll play 4 here before going back to Philadelphia. In shallow right. Believe it or not, look out. Goldie off the bag, but they got him. That's a ground out to second base in your scorebook. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Paul Goldschmidt coming up when we come back. Ross and Miguel Montero 3, 4, and 5 in the Diamondbacks order against Cole Hamels. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Phillies so far 3-1. Good matchup of lefties here at Chase Field. Patrick Corbin and Cole Hamels. Goldie struck out his first time up. Paul Goldschmidt taking care of business. The amazing rewards credit card from NBAZ. Learn more at nbarizona.com. There's a strike, 1-1. Bob, these numbers are not bad.
Ooh. Leads the National League in runs batted in, tied for 4th with homers, 5th in slugging percentage, tied for 3rd with average in runners in scoring position. Other than that, he hasn't done much.
He hit 4 homers and drove in 9 runs in a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. Only 3 other players in Diamondbacks history hit at least 4 homers and had at least 9 RBIs in any 3-game span. And as we saw 4 times in 3 games, it was Goldie, gone. 3 players who hit at least 4 homers and had at least 9 RBIs in any 3-game span: Steve Finley, Reggie Sanders, and Gonzo. And now Paul Goldschmidt. The ear is bent again. Takes the ball. There's a walk. 22nd walk of the season for Paul Goldschmidt. He's on base again, this time to lead off the fourth. Man aboard for Cody Ross. Cody grounded out his first time up, back to the cleanup spot tonight. 2 for 4 there last night against the Dodgers. 277, a homer, and 9 RBIs. There's the strike, 0-1. This is a great matchup for Cody Ross. He's 11 for 37 with 5 home runs and 7 RBIs against Cole Hamels. In fact, Cody's 5 homers off Hamels, his most off any pitcher. As a Marlin and as a Boston Red Sox. 5 homers off Cole Hamels. There's in the Marlin black. And the Red Sox blue at Citizens Bank. Cody's even here, 1-1. Keep a close eye on Paul Goldschmidt. 4 stolen bases. He has not yet been caught.
And with Hamels on the mound, he surrendered 7 stolen bases. They've only caught 2 guys attempting to steal. I think a lot of guys just go first movement on Cole Hamels. He doesn't really like to pay a lot of attention to base runners, and occasionally you can get some huge jumps over there at first.
What hasn't he done this season?
I'm trying to peek into Carlos Ruiz to see if he can.
There goes Goldie, and they got him hung up. Diamondbacks have a man thrown out on the bases here for the 2nd time of the game.
Well, after 2 pickoff attempts, I think Goldie just decided, I'm going to take off on first movement, and Hamels throws 1 more pickoff attempt to first base just in time to get him at second.
Caught stealing, 1-3-6, so 1 out now for Cody, who's even 1-1. 1-2 now. Cody Ross crushing left-hand pitching this year, batting .440 against lefties, 11 for 25. There are the splits. Jimmy Rollins right to him, didn't even have to move. 2 down. Kind of hoping that one would stop before it got to J-Roll, because he wasn't coming in.
He's got a cannon out there at shortstop as well. 2 of the better throwing shortstops in all of baseball in this series here, with Didi Gregorius for the D-backs and Jimmy Rollins for the Phillies. He's out there working on his swing.
Watch this. He doesn't budge. Come on. There you go. I mean, that's good defensive positioning right there.
Know your runner. He knew he had time to get Cody Ross.
Miguel Montero struck out his first time up. Miggy had the night off in the series finale at Dodger Stadium. 4 for 16 on the road trip with a homer and 2 RBIs. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 13 games. In fact, we figured out the Diamondbacks left-hand hitters have 1 home run against a left-hand pitcher this year. And it was Miguel Montero, 2nd game of the year against Jaime Garcia.
The Giants' left-handed hitters, or rather the Diamondbacks' left-handed hitters, have actually done pretty well against left-handed pitching this year. They haven't really hit for a high average. They're right about in the middle of the pack as far as average goes, but they've done some damage. 8 extra base hits, a homer, 13 runs driven in.
And we've had a run of lefty starters against the Diamondbacks lately. Seems this version of the lineup has played a lot. Utley behind the bag. That's the inning. We're through 4 here at Chase. No score. In the Indians, 4-3 in the ninth. And they got this one wrong, Bob. Another case for your rope on umpires, and this has been a hot topic all over baseball. They looked at it and decided it was not a home run, even though it clearly was.
And that's actually a reviewable play with instant replay, and they still got it wrong.
So our AT&T Twitter poll question, as Bomel had his issues with Angel Hernandez, as basically did everyone today, is this: should the A's and Indians game be resumed from the point of the home run call after Major League Baseball admitted that the call was incorrect and was not made correctly? So send us your tweets, hashtag do-over or hashtag live with it. Should they resume the game from that point, or should they just move on? Tweet your vote to @Fox Sports Arizona.
That could turn out to be a big ball game. The A's figure to be in that American League West race all season long. I love to see Mel snap. You know, people said, "Oh, he's too cool, he's too reserved, he's too laid back." I've seen that side of Bob Melvin many times.
Here's Delman Young, who singled and was thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double, and thrown out by a lot. Phillies with only one hit so far against Patrick Corbin. It was the Young single. Up the middle, Pennington. Patrick Corbin's sinking two-seam fastball becoming one of the more effective pitches in baseball. And when you analyze the pitch FX data, last season Corbin's sinker averaged 91.6 miles per hour. This year it's up to 92.4. Remember, we told you the velocity was up this year. And more than half the time the pitch is hit, it just gets pounded into the ground like we just saw. The batters can't barrel it up, and as a result, Corbin's batting average on balls in play, which was .317 last year, is plummeted to .274. Meaning they're hitting Corbin stuff into the field of play, but it's worth 43 fewer points of batting average than it was last year. Here's Dominic Brown, struck out his last time up. That one gets through. Second hit for the Phillies here.
And you would think any pitcher on this D-back staff, before he would throw his first delivery of the game, take a step off the back of that mound and look around. Look at the defenders you have playing behind you and the way they've played the game with the leather this year. And make up your mind, you're going to throw the ball, good quality strikes in the zone, down, and let your defense work behind you.
Well, one of the trademarks of Corbin's season so far, as Ruiz steps in, he was hit by a pitch his first time up, has been to get ahead immediately, as we said at the top of the telecast. His first pitch strike percentage, just under 59% last year. This year it's 71%. And that is second in all of Major League Baseball, or I should say third, pardon me, behind only Chris Medlin and Tim Hudson. He's getting ahead in the count. First pitch strike, 0-1, 71% of the time.
Immediately putting the other team's hitters in the defensive, expand their strike zone a little bit. That's when they become susceptible to that slider that he throws. That all works together. If you're constantly behind in the count, you can't throw a lot of off-speed pitches or breaking balls because you have to get back into the sequence. That usually means a fastball, and when hitters are ahead in the count and looking for fastball, that's when you get hurt.
First pitch strikes 11 of 16 times so far. Here's the 0-1. I am BB's long lost brother. All right, let's pan up there, Mitch. And I didn't know you were related to Wilford Brimley.
Wow. Have some tree bark. Nice snack at the ballpark for Wilford. I've got 5 sisters. I don't have any brothers. Sorry, pal.
He's got the purple on.
Yeah, he does.
Left field, Cody Ross. 2 down. So you grew up in a house with just you and 5 sisters?
Well, it's a long story. My youngest sister is 9 years older than me, so that was somewhat of a mistake, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Well, it worked out.
Yes, it did. I love him dearly.
Here's Ben Revere. Keeping Dominic Brown close. Ben Revere, born in Atlanta, went to high school in Lexington, Kentucky. First round pick by the Twins in the 07 draft. He was the 28th player selected overall. There's the lead of Dominic Brown at first. Good look at Patrick Corbin's move here.
You know, we've talked a lot this season how Kirk Gibson likes to control the opponent's running game. Something might be fun for you at home. Just count in your head when Patrick Corbin comes to the set position out there on the mound. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. Sometimes he'll deliver it quickly. Sometimes the count may go up to 5 before he lets that ball go. And that's what's going to hold the good base stealers over there at first base. There's always a certain amount of timing involved with those base stealers. And if you fall into a pattern where you're coming set, 1,001, 1,002, throw home. 1,001, 1,002, throw home. Good base runners will read that and get huge jumps.
And as we saw at Dodger Stadium, oftentimes Josh Beckett will count to 30, 45, or 60.
Oh, man. Well, we got a couple guys on this Philly staff that like to work very deliberately. Jonathan Papelbon and Antonio Bastardo, 2 of their late inning relief pitchers.
High in the air, right field. Gerardo Parra's underneath. Calls off Pollock, and that's the inning. A single for the Phillies. They strand the runner. You are not, I'm sorry, Bob Brenly's long lost brother. We're back with more after this. We invite you to help make a difference by coming out to the D-backs game this Mother's Day. The Diamondbacks will donate $5 from every ticket sold through this offer to City of Hope. So this is a great cause. Come out and join us here on Mother's Day. Visit www.dbacks.com/City of Hope. Password HOPE. Martin Prado, Gerardo Parra, and Cliff Pennington here against Cole Hamels in a scoreless fifth. Moving along here. 2 hits for the Phillies and 3 for the Diamondbacks. Prado singled his first time up. And that play at third base is looming bigger and bigger as this game wears on, where Martin got thrown out at third. As Dominic Brown struggled to fish the ball out of the left field corner, Prado was waved in, then stopped, and by then it was too late.
We saw him working on that Juan Uribe bat over on the bench before his last at bat. Had the blue stripe about halfway up the handle. It looks like he's gone back to his own model of bat.
Well, he did get a hit with the Uribe bat. And there's a drive to right. Drops in front of Delman Young. Prado 2 for 2.
Yeah, he had a hit with that Juan Uribe bat in his first time up, and Juan Uribe promptly called and said he wanted it back.
Gerardo Parra doubled his last time up. 4 hits for the Diamondbacks now against Hamels here. So counting tonight, Parra has now hit safely in 20 of his last 22 games. 15 runs scored over that stretch. Leadoff man on for the D-backs here in the 5th. Base hit to center. Prado stops at second. 2 aboard, nobody out for the Diamondbacks here. Parra 2 for 2.
This might be a record for Gerardo Parra. We're into the bottom of the 5th of this ball game, and his uniform is still clean.
It's gotta be. Give him time, though, and we're going to the boxing glove now.
Yep.
This is something that Gerardo has started. When he gets on base, he goes into his falconry mode and puts that thing on.
The of glove.
The oven mitt. Cliff Pennington now. One and 0. Pennington on base twice in his last start. That was Tuesday night at Dodger Stadium, walking a single. Cliff has hit safely in 6 of his last 8 games. 348 over that stretch. Right back to Hamels off the glove. He'll have no play other than first. And the runners move up, 1 out.
Looked like a potential double play off the bat. Comebacker to the mound. Hamels reacted like he thought that ball was hit a lot harder than it really was, and then nearly throws it away to Ryan Howard, but that serves the purpose of a sacrifice bunt, moving 2 runners into scoring position for Patrick Corbin. Now Parr's dirty.
Told you. Didn't take long, did it? So that's the way the Phillies will play it defensively here against Corbin. Grounded out to second his first time up. Young is on the grass at third.
I'd like to see Park get a little more lead out there at second base with the Phillies corner or middle infielders playing in. He could really get a big lead at second base. Now they're retreating a little bit. Jimmy Rollins backing up. Now you have to be a little more careful when that infielder is playing behind you, but when he's playing in front of you, you can get as much lead off the bag as he is off the bag.
Yeah, a moment ago, but just before Rollins was backing up there, now he's all the way out on the grass. He was actually in front of Parra. Now he's well back. Right to Rollins. This will get a run in. Patrick Corbin, RBI ground out. 1-0 Diamondbacks. Carlo Parra moves to third.
I wonder what changed Charlie Manuel's mind. He had the infield drawn in on the first pitch to Patrick Corbin and then had him retreat to the deep position, and that allows the Diamondbacks to score a run.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially where Rollins was standing before he started backing up. That ball would have been hit right to him.
See the reaction of Cole Hamels out there on the mound. He was very upset. I'm not sure if it was with his pitch selection or the defensive positioning by his infielders, but Diamondbacks jump on the board.
So 1-0 here. 2 outs, Parra on third. Here's A.J. Pollock. He's 0 for 2. Struck out his last time up.
Yeah, here was the first pitch to Patrick Corbin in his at bat with runners at second and third. You can see everybody drawn in, especially that left side of the infield.
Look where Rollins is. That's right where the ball was hit.
And then they backed up and get a run on a ground out to short.
There's a strike, 1-1.
There you see the first pitch to Patrick Corbin where the infielders are positioned. And there's where they were when he put the ball in play to Jimmy Rollins at short, allowing Prado to score from third base.
What would be the reasoning, Bob, to move him back at all then? What are you trying to prevent by doing that?
With the pitcher at the plate, and it's not uncommon to play your infield in, because you don't figure he's going to drive the ball through there.
Right.
Put it in play softly. I'm not sure why he had him back up. Maybe Corbin's swing on that foul ball down the first baseline scared him into playing his defense back and avoiding the big inning.
Ball 4. 2-out walk by A.J. Pollock. First and third with 2 outs here for the D-backs. Second walk issued by Cole Hamels.
Charlie Manuel's one of those managers. He would much prefer to have a 15-14 game than a 2-1 game.
He is, after all, an old hitting coach.
Yes, he is. He likes to see his guys swing the bats. And if you got a slug with another team to beat him, that's right up his alley.
Well, here's a guy that likes to swing the bat. Didi Gregorius, an aggressive hitter stepping in. He has doubled and grounded out, 1 for 2. Last night was the first time in his career that Didi did not get a base hit, although in typical Gregorius fashion, he did manage to get on base twice. Reached on a walk and an error. One and one. View from the RamTrucks.com pool area. Great view out there. You can see everything. Misses there. 3-1 now. Goldie's on deck. I wouldn't mind getting to see Paul Goldschmidt here with the bases full. That'd work. The way things going lately. And we'll get that chance. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks by Cole Hamels. He's walked 3. And now the bases are loaded with 2 outs. And here comes Goldie. And they're going to have a meeting at the mound as to where do you throw him. Where do you pitch to Paul Goldschmidt? You want to keep going down and away if you're...
For me, I think so, yeah. I mean, at least try to limit the damage that he can do. You get the ball up and out over the plate, he can drive it out of here to right field or into the gap in right center. We've seen him be extremely quick when teams have tried to come inside. He can pull that ball in the air to left field. Just try to stay down, I guess, is the best advice.
Goldie hit .474 on the 6-game road trip, 9 for 19, a double, 4 homers, and 11 RBIs. Parr at third. A.J. Pollock at second, and now Didi Gregorius at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs, a run is in here in the 5th. 1-0. Cole Hamels now at 68 pitches, 38 for strikes.
The oohs and ahs when Paul Goldschmidt swings and misses. Got a pitch up and out over the plate. Good ball to drive.
Oh, missed the spot. That's the mistake Belisario made last night. Wanted it down and away, got it up and in, crushed. 1-2 now. And now you have to keep in mind Hamels' great breaking stuff, especially that changeup here. Watch this one. This was the second home run last night. Look where they set up. That's A.J. Ellis, the catcher. They wanted it right there, down and away. And he throws a cutter that hangs. Look by how much he missed his spot. And Goldie takes advantage of the mistake. If you get it inside to Paul Goldschmidt there, he is going to crush it. 2-2. Jimmy Rollins. They go the short way for the force, and that ends the inning. Diamondbacks leave them loaded, but they get a run in. We're through 5, 1-0 Arizona. Going on here at Chase Field. Tomorrow, post-game fireworks show brought to you by Gila River Casinos and a post-game concert featuring Switchfoot presented by Grand Canyon University. Post-game concert free with a ticket to the game. So log on to dbacks.com/Switchfoot for more information about the concert. And then don't forget, Sunday is Mother's Day. Bring Mom to the game. It's a 1:10 start. She'll get a tote bag courtesy of Diet Pepsi. Get tickets now by calling 602-462-4600. or visit dbacks.com/tickets. A lot going on here this weekend at Chase. 4 games against the Phillies. Hamels, first pitch swinging, fouls it off. Cole Hamels, Jimmy Rollins, and Chase Utley. 9-1-2 here in the Philadelphia 6th. Phillies with only 2 hits so far against Patrick Corbin. He has 3 strikeouts. Paul Goldschmidt can't find it.
That's as close as we've seen to an error by Paul Goldschmidt this year.
He didn't. You know what? He never panicked though.
He just kind of left it behind him there, but realized he still had time if he could get to the ball to beat Hamels over there to the base. Just took his eye off of it right at the end, but nice recovery to get the out.
Coming forward like that to charge in on the ball, his momentum sort of carried him over the ball, but he was able to get back to it. Jimmy Rollins 0 for 2. Pollock in center. 2 quick outs here for Patrick Corbin, who's rolling along. He's now retired 11 of the last 12 he's faced. Kirk Gibson, Charles Nagy, and the D-back staff have talked with Patrick about sequences using location and command. Chase Utley steps in now. Kirk Gibson says that while Corbin has the good velocity, his location has been great. His off-speed pitches have been very good. But Gibby says they've also talked about going up and down, in and down, forward, back, and Corbin has done it all. His sequences, Kirk Gibson says, are outstanding. Adam Eaton, Pete Rose. Oh, I haven't seen Adam yet this year.
No.
Pete had a pretty long career. So, what do they always say? Small sample size?
Yeah, very small sample size if you're comparing him to Pete Rose.
But in terms of the style, I get where he's going.
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
I always sort of picture Adam as kind of Dustin Pedroia type in center field. There's a strike, 3-1. You know the kind of guy that's like Gerardo Parra. He's a nudge. You love him if he's on your team. He drives you crazy if he's on the other team. Parra's got to be that way. He's dirty. He's even dirtier than he was last time we checked. So he's on pace here. 3-1 now. Ball 4. First walk issued by Patrick Corbin. And this is what you don't want to do here. Patrick's been sailing along, but don't put guys on ahead of Young and Howard. Although he's handled Michael Young so far, Young has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Seven RBI shy of 1,000 for his career.
Speaking of Adam Eaton, he's 0 for 2 tonight for the Reno Aces. They're playing the Omaha Storm Chasers tonight. Omaha's had their way 12-0 in the 5th inning, and Adam Eaton is 0 for 2 in the ballgame.
Who pitched for us?
Well, let's take a look here. Garrett Mock started an inning and 2/3, gave up 8 hits, 11 runs.
It's away from Montero. Utley didn't get back quick enough, and that was close. Chase Utley can run. He's got 4 steals, only been caught once this year. Young ahead in the count here, 1-0. Of course, Utley battles that chronic knee problem in both knees, really. That's forced him to miss a lot of time. But off to a good start this year in terms of home runs, certainly 7 already. 276 on the year coming in. He's getting a big lead over there.
Lovely is always so under control. You never see him get overextended defensively or offensively, running the bases. It always seems like he is totally in control. Plays the game at his own pace.
5 times an All-Star, finished in the top 10 in the MVP voting 3 times. And that one does get away from Montero. And Utley advances. Wild pitch.
Tried to cradle it up against his chest protector. Unfortunately hit off the side, ricocheted over toward that third base dugout.
So now the tying run is in scoring position here. 2 outs. Michael Young ahead in the count, 2-0. Three and 0 now. Ryan Howard is on deck. Ryan Sandberg at third. And they will work to Ryan Howard here. Behind 3-0 to Young. So 2 on, 2 outs for the Phillies, and up steps Ryan Howard.
First baseman Ryan Howard.
Howard coming in had driven in 14 runs in his last 14 games. So he has cranked up the RBI pace here, and he's got a chance to continue that. And the shift once again is on. Now they have Prado at third, Gregorius behind the bag at second, and Pennington in shallow left. Now, Bob, why would you change things up here? You still have the shift, but now instead of Prado at second, you have Gregorius behind the bag.
Well, with the runner at second base, obviously you have to have somebody close enough to the bag at third to keep him from just trotting over there 90 feet away from home plate. So I guess they figure they keep Prado on that left side. He's a versatile enough infielder. We've seen him play all over the diamond already this year. Nobody on base. I'm sure Prado would be in his traditional second base position in this shift. But with the runner at second, you got to keep somebody close to that bag.
There's a strike. Corbin ahead quickly here, 0-2.
Now this was the setup in his last at bat. That's Martin Prado playing the second base position. Cliff Pennington playing shallow right field. Ball hit right to it.
One for 16 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Struck him out. 4th strikeout of the night for Patrick Corbin. He strands 2. He'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The 1-run holding up so far. When we come back, Cody Ross, Miguel Montero, and Martin Prado. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. here. Patrick Corbin has given up only 2 hits through 6 scoreless so far. Cole Hamels 5 hits. He's given up 1 earned. And the Diamondbacks lead the Phillies 1-0 here. Bottom of the 6th. Ross, Montero, and Prado 4, 5, and 6 against Hamels. Cody 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Cole Hamels has one funny looking thing on his track record, and that is this. For his career, he is 4 games under 500 in even numbered months. Conversely, he is 32 games over 500 in odd numbered months.
How about that? How do you break that down?
Oh, we break down everything, BB. Even numbered months, 39 and 43. Odd numbered months, 53 and 21. Oh, hold on there, Cody Ross, says Mike Machlinsky. Looked like a 4-pitch walk. Yeah, that's off the plate. That's ball 4.
A 3-0 changeup. Cole Hamels is aware of the numbers Cody Ross has against him, too.
Cody pulls it down the left field line, and it clangs off the Diamondbacks bullpen. Cody Ross heads in for second, and he's standing up. Leadoff double for Cody Ross here in the 6th. Well, we gave you the numbers for Cody against Cole Hamels, and they just got better, Bob.
Yeah, sometimes there's just no way to explain it. You see the ball well out of the pitcher's hands. His stuff matches up well with your swing. You never really know what causes it, but Cody Ross has the pink slip on Cole Hamels. He owns it.
Now 12 for 40 career against Cole Hamels. That includes 5 home runs and 7 RBIs. So a runner at second, nobody out. Here's Miguel Montero 0 for 2. Miggy at 198. He's in there, 10 for his last 52.
Kind of surprised to see Hamill and Carlos Ruiz come inside there to Miguel Montero. Right now in this situation, you would think the Phillies want to get Miggy to hit that ball to the left side of the infield, try to hold Cody Ross at second base, but they come inside with a fastball. Pitch that's more likely to be hit to the right side of the infield or right field.
Montero 2 for 21 this season with runners in scoring position.
Coming inside again.
Well, they're throwing out the book tonight. First Rollins defensively, and now the way to pitch to Miggy here. Three and one. Hamels did have a very shaky 5th inning. He gave up 2 singles to start off the inning, and then later walked 2 in the inning. So it was a rough 5th. He was lucky to get out of it with only 1 run. Stranded, the bases loaded. He's behind here, 3 and 1.
Flat cutter right across the middle of the plate, ended up on the outside corner.
Cutter from a lefty moves away from the left-hand hitter. Got a piece of that one, still alive. Hamels at 84 pitches, 47 for strikes. And it's another case for Cole Hamels of no run support. Literally. Phillies have only 2 hits against Patrick Corbin. Ball 4. 4 walks now for Hamels. Two aboard, nobody out for the Diamondbacks.
Third baseman, Martin Prado.
This is the kind of slow walk to the mound that usually indicates the Phillies are going to get some activity in their bullpen down in the right field corner. Normally, if Rich Doobie has advice or mechanical information for his pitcher, he'll jog out there, impart what he has to say, and then jog back to the dugout. When you see that pitching coach take that long, leisurely stroll to the mound, it's usually to stall for a little bit of time to get your bullpen going.
Big Philippe Beaumont was warming up, or at least getting ready to warm up down there. Four walks through 5+ so far for Hamels. So 2 on, no outs. Here's Martin Prado. Martin so far tonight, 2 for 2. 2 singles. He scored a run. There's the strike, 0-1. He bunts it foul.
Pretty sure he did that on his own, trying to push that ball to the right side of the field. He did have 11 sack bunts back in the 09 season for the Atlanta Braves. I think part of the reason Gibby has moved Martin Prado down to the spot in the order he's in right now is to present him with some of these opportunities to maybe drive in some runs.
Yeah, you kind of felt like he gave away a strike there.
Yep.
As usual, you see the pine tar from Martin's bat on the back of his shoulder. Ross at second, Montero at first. No outs here in the 6th. 1-0 Diamondbacks. Hard down the right field line, foul. Martin struggling with runners in scoring position, 1 for his last 29. Broken bat. Rollins at short. They get the force on Montero. Ross to third. Prado aboard. First and third, 1 out now.
Rollins has to move a little bit to get to this ball. Long way to his right. Strong throw onto Chase Utley just in time for the force at second base.
They're still looking for the pieces of that bat.
They're scattered all over behind home plate.
They really are. I think we've picked up it's in sections. So it's Ross at third, Prado at first, 1 away, and here's Gerardo Parra, who's 2 for 2. Double in the 2nd. Single in the 5th. He has it safely in 20 of his last 22 games. And he bunts it up the line. Howard fields it. That'll get the run in. They get him at first, but it's an RBI. Ross scores. 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Alert play by Chase Utley to get over there and cover the bag. Otherwise, Parra gets himself an infield hit on this bunt. Hamels falling off that mound to the third base side just enough. Chase Utley, the only Philly defender that can get to the bag in time, and he's just ahead of Gerardo Parra.
So with first base open and the pitcher's spot on deck, they will walk Cliff Pennington. There is no hitter on deck as of yet for the Diamondbacks, although Patrick Corbin is gearing up now. They rule that an RBI for Parra, out 3-4. That's now 5 walks for Hamels tonight, counting the intentional walk there. So here's Patrick Corbin, who already has an RBI tonight. RBI ground out his last time up in the 5th inning. Prado at second, Pennington at first. Diamondbacks, Bob, didn't capitalize on their bases loaded opportunity when Paul Goldschmidt was up there, bases full and 2 outs, but they have found ways to scratch a couple across here. It's not always pretty, but right now it's 2-0. And Hamels at 97 pitches, only 53 for strikes. Patrick Corbin, Jimmy Rollins is there. They go the short way, and that's the inning. But the Diamondbacks get another run across here. We are through 6 at Chase. D-backs lead at 2-zip. UPS Store, flyers, business cards, brochures, and more. We can print that. And by Chaz Roberts. Choose Chaz. Little wedding party, BB, at Chase Field tonight. It's a nice picture. Everybody looks like they're having a good time.
We lead the league in love.
We sure do. They're out there at Friday's Front Row Sports Grill. High above left field, watching Patrick Corbin right now work on a 2-hit shutout. A single by Young in the 2nd, a single by Brown in the 5th. Other than that, that's been it for Patrick. He has walked 2, 1 intentionally. He has 4 strikeouts. He's at 80 pitches and rolling into the 7th here. Delman Young, Dominic Brown, and Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies. And Baxter's been at it again. He's got the silly string again. Well, you have to. You know, we must defend this house, as the kids say, and Baxter got over there and felt it necessary to silly string that guy. Delman Young has singled and grounded out. He's 1 for 2. Another first pitch strike for Patrick Corbin. Diamondbacks thrilled with the confidence that Corbin has grown, really. He's now believing in that slider more and more, and it's something the coaches can see out there. Pennington in shallow right. Cliff Pennington pulls Goldschmidt off the bag, and Young's aboard. Tough play by Cliff Pennington just to get to that ball. His momentum carrying him toward the right field foul line, and that's a base hit.
That's one of the toughest throws a second baseman has to make, is momentum carrying him toward the foul line, throwing back against his body. Oh, man, he's out.
He's out. Vic Carapazza, the first base umpire. Foot on the bag, ball in glove. Dominic Brown 1 for 2, singled his last time up. That's just the third hit for the Phillies. Let's take another look.
And it shouldn't have been a hit. Paul Goldschmidt with a great stretch, has the ball in the glove, foot on the bag. He's out.
Cue the robot umpire discussion in 3, 2, 1.
Instant replay all the time.
2-0 now. I mean, in Carapaz's defense, that's a difficult call with Goldie flying off the bag like that. But he missed it.
Not tough for a camera.
As we just proved. 3-0 now. He's perfectly positioned to make the call, and it's right in front of him. Three and 1. Dominic Brown in there at 2 for his last 20. He's been very much a work in progress the last few years in the Philadelphia system. Over the last 3 years, up and down with the big league club. 147 games over that span. Last 3 years, he's hit just .236.
And talking to the Phillies, they feel pretty confident that Dominic Brown will be a hitter at the major league level, but they have a lot of questions about his defense and his instincts, his base running.
Goldschmidt, can they roll it here? Didi, they get the force. And that throw gets away from Corbin covering the bag. Brown's aboard. He'll stay there. They do get the lead man. 1 out now in the 7th. Fielder's choice 3-6.
Well, one thing you love about this play, watch the tail end of it and how many Diamondbacks players are over there backing up the play. Miguel Montero coming from behind the plate, Cliff Pennington sprinting over from second base. Paul Goldschmidt gets back in the play. You got 3 guys backing up that play.
And they've been executing like that since day one. And that's one of the things of which Kirk Gibson is most proud. And he's told us that repeatedly. It's the little things, exactly like we just saw, that they are nailing this year.
You do the right thing more often than not, and it's going to win ball games for you.
All right, Charles Nagy has a conversation. Matt Reynolds is up in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Patrick Corbin right now at 88 pitches, 53 for strikes. Brown aboard on the fielder's choice. 1 out now, and here is Carlos Ruiz. Ruiz has been hit by a pitch and flied out. He is 4 for 30 this year. Base hit. That's 4 hits now for the Phillies.
Carlos Ruiz back from serving his suspension. Missed 25 games for taking a banned amphetamine, and you know the Phillies are glad to have him back in the lineup. You go back to the beginning of the 2010 season, only Joe Mauer and Buster Posey have a higher average at the catcher's position. Ruiz a .303 hitter over that stretch.
They're seeing if Matt Reynolds is ready. Ben Revere, a left-hand hitter, is stepping in, and now Miguel Montero will go stall for time. Ideally, you have Reynolds facing Revere here. But we'll have a pinch hitter now. Mayberry is in the on-deck circle. And here comes Kirk Gibson. They've got the word down from the bullpen that he is ready to go. So that will end the night here for Patrick Corbin. And it was another good one. He's gone 6 1/3. Given up 4 hits, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. He's responsible for 2 base runners. We'll take a break. Here comes Matt Reynolds.
Old dude met mom, it was on. Then he named me over a phone.
Chase, get a lower level bleacher ticket for only $21 to any of the games of the D-backs value pack. And the value pack includes the bleacher ticket, the hot dog, Pepsi, and a free cookie from Subway restaurants, all for only $21. So call now and ask for the value pack, 602-462-4600, or you can buy them online right now at dbacks.com/value. Matt Reynolds is on, 2 on, 1 out. Diamondbacks lead it 2-0 here in the 7th inning. And John Mayberry steps in as the pinch hitter. He'll hit for Ben Revere here.
Reynolds has been on quite a roll for the D-backs. Personally, a 20-game scoreless streak that encompasses 17 2/3 innings.
There's a ball. John Mayberry, over his last 13 games, hitting just .118. He is 4 for his last 34 up there.
And 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter off Charlie Manuel's bench.
He is hitting .192 against left-hand pitching this season, just 5 for 26 in 15 games. Reynolds behind here, 2-0. Cole Hamels out there on deck, bat in hand. Drives it to left. Cody Ross coming in, and it drops in front. They will stop Dom Brown at third. Bases loaded, 1 out for the Phillies here. Too shallow to send Brown from second, so the Phillies have him loaded.
That's that full swing, and the ball is not hit well that will fool an outfielder. Got it down near the trademark a little bit. Looked good coming off the bat, but just got out there in shallow left field and died in front of Cody Ross.
Yeah, Ryan Sandberg had no choice but to hold Brown there at third. And so that will take care of Cole Hamels. Now bases loaded, 1 out. Hamels was out on deck as we showed you. Instead, we'll see a pinch hitter here. Kevin Fransden is stepping in. Keep in mind, as Bob mentioned, Matt Reynolds unscored upon this season in 17 appearances as a Diamondback. He's worked 16 1/3 so far this year. He's given up just 7 hits, make it now 8 with 14 strikeouts. Bases loaded, 1 out. Kevin Fransden will hit for Hamels here. Reynolds misses there. Fransden hitting .313 over his last 10, but with only 18 plate appearances over that span. He is 5 for his last 16 as he steps in here with a double and a home run. Brown at third, Ruiz at second, Mayberry at first. There's a strike, 1-1. How about some pine tar?
Equipment managers just absolutely hate that. You got to pack that helmet in with all the rest of them that are relatively clean.
One and two now. Corbin responsible for 2 of the 3 base runners. Brown at third and Ruiz at second. Mayberry aboard at first. 1 out here in the 7th. 1 and 2 to Kevin Fransden now. Reynolds wants to go through the signs one more time.
Yeah!
Pennington, it's over his head and it drops in. Brown will score. They hold Ruiz at third, but they get the out at second. Everybody had to hold up there, and it cost the Phillies a runner.
That may have cost Fransden a hit right there. I believe that's got to be scored a fielder's choice since they did get the out at second base. Reynolds jams him badly. It's that little floater just out of Cliff Pennington's reach, and as always, Gerardo Parr, Johnny on the spot, fires a seed to Didi Gregorius to get the force out at second.
And indeed, they ruled a fielder's choice, 9-6 on the out, and an RBI. So now it's 1st and 3rd, 2 outs for Jimmy Rollins. Rollins is 0 for 3. He has grounded out twice and flied out. So Mayberry forced at second, 9-6. Franzen aboard fielder's choice, given an RBI. Brown scores from third. It's 2-1. One now.
Daniel Hudson with a nice play with the hat.
Straight up in the air, Didi Gregorius backing into shallow center, and Didi tracks it down and saves a run. Didi Gregorius, defensive run saved. There's one right there. Diamondbacks hold on to the lead. We'll go home half of the 7th, get up and stretch. It's a 2-1 ball game. Powered by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Jack in the Box, the Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax. Diamondbacks still lead at 2-1, bottom 7. Joe Borowski joins us here in the booth. Don't forget Aaron Hill Bicycle Bobble Day coming up soon at Chase Field. Get yours while you can. How about this defense as a pitcher? You've got to love this. This is defensive runs saved all over the field.
They've been doing it all year. Absolutely fantastic defense by the Diamondbacks all year. And as a pitcher, you're right. You're more aggressive in the zone when you know guys are going to play that type of defense behind you.
Big Philippe Aumont is on for the Phillies. 6'7", 260, Bob.
Yeah, Philippe Aumont, he had some issues with his mechanics when he coming up through the Philly system. John Meribay stays in to play center field. Didn't take advantage of that 6'7" frame. He was throwing from a low 3/4, nearly a sidearm delivery. You can see the low arm angle right there. They've tried to get him to stay a little taller on the rubber, take advantage of his height and the downward plane, but that arm keeps dropping down in that very familiar low 3/4 slot.
Yeah, he was a big prospect coming up as a starting pitcher, but he's found something of a niche here as a reliever. A.J. Pollock now 0 for 2. He walked his last time up. Aumont has not allowed an earned run, or pardon me, he's allowed an earned run in only one of his last 12 appearances. A.J. in there at 262. Joe, watching all the games from here at Chase, the Wild Dodger series and losing 2 or 3 at Petco. What'd you take away from the West Coast trip?
I thought a great way to finish it up. Disappointing losing 2 out of 3 against San Diego, but go into L.A. and you sweep them, that just sets you off, I think, on the right foot coming into a big home series.
There's no way he didn't beat that out. Vic Carapazza again, and we know that he missed the call on Goldie. AJ thinks he certainly beat it out. It looked like from up here he beat it out. Let's take a look. Here we go again. Can't tell definitively if it's in Howard's glove, but let's see. He beat it out.
Yes, he did.
That's 0 for 2.
Having a rough night down there.
He beat that out. That should be a base hit. But another close play. So here's Didi. He has doubled and walked.
Well, the last call that Vic missed down there at first base cost the Diamondbacks a run.
I can't. This is just going to feed the robot umpire thing, Joe. He's been insufferable about it. But the
Bob's demanding instant replay.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well, if they didn't keep making his point for him, I'd have some ground to stand on.
Big fastball from the right-handed reliever for the Phillies. In the mid to upper 90s. Also has a slurvy breaking ball and a split finger that was very inconsistent for him.
Look out.
Yeah, this is the one that ended up costing the D-backs a run. Great play by Cliff Pennington. The throw pulls Goldie apparently off the bag, but our replay clearly shows he's got the ball in the glove and the foot on the base. That one hurt.
2-1 to Didi. 3-1 now. Joe Didi appears settled in and back. It's like he never got hit in the head at all. Thank goodness he doesn't appear to have missed a beat here.
He sure does. And that was my fear. Anytime you're hot and then you have to take a prolonged absence from the team and everything that you've grown accustomed to doing daily, usually it'll put you in a little slump. But he picked up right where he left off.
Base hit. Didi Gregorius has been on base 3 times tonight. What else is new? A double, a walk, and a single, and yep, he's red hot. He has become must-see TV. He is electric. Vin Scully, as we mentioned, was walking around the Dodger Stadium press by. This kid, Gregorius, the shortstop, he's great for the game.
And he's showing he can hit in the top of the order as well as in the bottom of the order, too. That the versatility is just great.
Yeah, you know what? As Bob and I mentioned, you're right, Joe. They moved him up. Okay, did fine down there, 8th. That's fine. But yeah, let's see how you do batting second against left-hand starters. You know what? No change.
Absolutely none.
Paul Goldschmidt has struck out, walked, and hit into a fielder's choice. Everybody loves Goldie.
Well, not Tim Lincecum.
Or Chris Capuano.
Yeah.
Although there's clearly a pattern here. When Goldie does his thing, they win, and when he doesn't, they often don't. So this is where the other spots in the lineup, the guys that are scuffling a bit here, they have to pick it up, which you know they will. It's just a matter of when. But for the moment, Paul Goldschmidt carrying the load. Chopper, Oman, a big guy, gets to it in time. Didi moves up. That's a lot of pitcher coming at you at 6'7", 260.
Boy, the potential for a collision down there between Paul Goldschmidt, Philip Amon, and Ryan Howard. Those are 3 big boys converging on that bag over there. Wow.
Look at this. These guys are a defensive line over there.
That's a demolition derby waiting to happen.
Can play a 3-4 with those guys. Cody Ross doubled and scored his last time up. Joe, what else have you seen from the D-backs last week or so.
I'm just happy to see that they didn't allow what happened at Petco to affect them going into LA. This team, you have to be ready because every game's close. It seems like every game you're on the edge of your seat watching, and you can't say enough about Goldie just stepping it up in LA there. And it just seemed like he was in the spotlight in a certain situation late in every single game, and he came through.
Sure did. It was unbelievable. And you're right about Petco, too, because the Sunday loss was a bummer because Volquez didn't pitch great, but he pitched okay. And Ian struggled a little bit, and they didn't hit against Volquez. So it just was one of those days where you just have to say, well, that's it. Give it to him. So it wasn't a super vibe going from San Diego to L.A., but you're right. It turned instantly as soon as they got to Dodger Stadium. 1-0 now to Cody Ross. And Joe, the news on J.J. Putt certainly encouraging. The MRI showed no ligament damage, just a strain, and they'll shut him down for a couple of weeks and then build him back up again. What's that like? I mean, J.J. said the hardest part was not knowing, and now that we do know more.
Yeah, the toughest thing was watching him just shaking his hand on the mound there. That normally indicates that you don't have good feeling in your fingers, and that's when you really want to make sure that there is no nerve or ligament damage. And hopefully it's just some inflammation that's in there, and it's just maybe with some rest, it'll calm down. Then you get yourself back and see where you're at.
And conversely, the more that we've seen Heath Bell in that role, the more comfortable he seems. He seems like he's sort of back in a place he used to be when he was a closer.
Well, that's a great thing about this bullpen is you have somebody in Heath Bell who's done it for so long and was very successful at it. You're not having to shuffle around the other guys in the bullpen and trying to put them in situations now that they're not comfortable.
I saw that on Twitter. A bunch of people were tweeting me, why don't you just make Matt Reynolds the closer? Here comes Charlie Manuel. Well, I always say that's fine, but you got to get to the closer too. It's not that simple.
Absolutely, and everybody could stay in their same roles that they're accustomed to. You throw in Heath Bell, who's been a very successful closer, to do the job while JJ's on the DL.
Diamondbacks have 2 on and 2 out. Pitching change. We're coming back from Chase after this. A win, Bob Brenly, a win for the human element. And it's a blowout win. 68% say, you know what, live with it.
I'd be interested to see what the voting was if it had happened to the Diamondbacks and not the Oakland A's. I can't believe you people.
Should the A's and Indians game, which was botched by the Angel Hernandez crew, be resumed from the point of the missed call? And 68% say no, the human element.
Human element should only involve the players, not the judges.
Jeremy Horst, the new pitcher, the left-hander, to face Miguel Montero with 2 on and 2 out here. Gregorius at second, Ross at first. And Horst will face Miggy. There's a ball 1-0. Left-hand hitters batting only .091 against Horst in his last 10 appearances. This is a loogie guy. He's given up a hit to only one of the last 12, one of the last 11 left-handers he's faced. And he's having trouble locating here. It's 2-0.
Fastball, slider, changeup combination from Horst. As you mentioned, finding the strike zone consistently has been an issue for him from time to time.
Three and 0. Martin Prado's on deck. Prado's been on base 3 times today.
Have to believe Miggy still has the green light. Gibby loves to let his guys swing away. 3-0. Might be a different story against a left-handed pitcher, however.
Ball 4, bases loaded, 2 outs for Martin Prado. A 4-pitch walk to the lefty from the lefty, and that'll have any manager talking to himself.
In Charlie Manuel's perfect world, you don't need pitchers. Just set up a machine out there on the mound and go to hit.
You want to get rid of umpires. He wants to get rid of pitchers. Who's left?
I think we went back to the Juan Uribe bat.
That had a hit in it last time. It's got that blue Dodger stripe on there. Not too nuts about that, but. Six pitches, 6 balls. Let's talk about it.
And once again, just speculating, but Carlos Ruiz probably saying, hey, take a look down to the bullpen. There's nobody throwing. You got to figure out a way to get us out of this inning.
The big question here with Prado is, do you take a pitch here and make him throw a strike, or do you try to ambush him trying to get me over strike right here?
That's the eternal question. I think Martin Prado, in his patience, will probably take till he gets a strike.
All the way.
I'm sure he had the green light, but just knowing Martin the way we do, he's going to make Horst work out there on the mound.
Didi Gregorius at third. Odie Ross at second. Miguel Montero at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the Diamondbacks' 7th. In the dirt, 3-1.
Very nearly snuck underneath the mask of Carlos Ruiz as he went down to block it. Hit him right on that little extension that sticks out at the bottom of the catcher's mask.
Elevates, 3-2.
Obviously, that's ball 4 and a run for the Diamondbacks, but in the grand scheme of things, not the worst thing that could happen. Now all the runners are going to be on motion. If Martin can get a base hit right here, it scores at least 2.
Down the line. Foul.
Clearly foul. Easy call for Kerwin Danley down there at third base.
Chance to bust it wide open right here.
Macy Prado constantly reminding himself, inside out, keep your hands inside the ball.
Straight up in the air. Who wants it? Rollins. Diamondbacks again for the 2nd time tonight. Leave them loaded. We'll go to the 8th. It's 2-1 D-backs.
game 2 of this 4-game series for you. Pre-game coverage starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Ian Kennedy on the mound, and he's been making some adjustments, struggling a bit. 0-3 in his last 6 starts with an ERA of 5.70. He's working on his mechanics a little bit. Kevin Towers and Kirk Gibson both said this week that they want him to get back to what he does best, which is commanding that fastball, throwing a lot of off-speed stuff in his last outing. So Ian working on that, but here's a little note. His 207 opponent average against the Phillies is second best against any opponent. And guys, that's pretty impressive because he's been very good in his career against the NL West. So that is the matchup for tomorrow.
Thanks, Jody. They did huddle up, BB, with Ian after the last start and try to get back on track in terms of philosophy and a way to attack the hitters. David Hernandez on for the 8th. He'll face the heart of the order here. Utley, Young, and Howard, 2, 3, and 4. Chase Utley is 0 for 2. He walked his last time up.
Big inning in the ball game right here. Obviously, Heath Bell will be the closer for the Diamondbacks should there be a save situation in the 9th, but this could be the ball game right here.
It has been before. Hernandez worked in Tuesday night's game at Dodger Stadium and pitched out of a first and second jam with 1 out in what at that point was a tie game in the 8th. Center field. Pollock coming in. Gregorius out there as well. It's a team meeting, and Didi hangs on, and Parra hangs on to Gregorius. It wasn't pretty, but it's 1 out.
Any one of the 4 defenders probably could have made the play. Didi ends up calling off Cliff Pennington. The 2 outfielders are right there ready to make the play. Communication so important.
And he was a good 30 feet out there in center field. And hung up there long enough for most of the Diamondbacks to converge underneath. But it's the first out of the 8th, and here's Michael Young. He was intentionally walked his last time up. Hernandez gets ahead 0-1. Center field scoreboard, by the way, has gone dark. Good pitch right there, 1-2. Hernandez has pitched scoreless ball in 3 of his last 4 outings. He's allowed 4 hits in 5 innings over that span, 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. Another good pitch, and he gets Young. David Hernandez pulls the string. 2 down here in the 8th.
David is normally a power fastball, power curveball combination. I think those last 2 pitches were sliders in the mid-80s. Good downward movement away from the right-handed hitter. Got the swing and a miss from Michael Young.
The shift is on for Ryan Howard, and let's see where everyone ends up. Once again, it's Gregorius over there on the left side by himself. Pennington in shallow right, and Prado, the third baseman, plays well over to the first base side of second. Ryan Howard is 0 for 3. He struck out twice. Hernandez ahead again, 95 that time, 0-1. Right-hand hitters batting .219 versus Hernandez this year. Lefties hitting .286. Oh, and 2. This looks like the old David Hernandez.
Yeah, not struggling to find a release point, not jerking pitches out of the strike zone, just pounding away at those corners.
Look at that, how that tailed back into the zone like that. Here's the 0-2. Howard doesn't chase, 1-2. That little front door 2-seamer to the lefty that sneaks back in over the plate. Going to come inside again here. And Howard lines it in front of Pennington in shallow right. They got to play it first. And he got it right. They got him. That's a 4-3 ground out, Bob Brenly. That's a 4-3 ground out in your scorebook. Cliff Pennington from right field. And Vic Carapazza this time gets it as they get Howard by half a step. We go bottom 8. It's still 2-1 Diamondbacks. Wow. Play of the game. Bob Brenly, not your routine ground out to second base.
When you're positioned in that exaggerated pull shift, there is no such thing as a routine play, but you'll rarely see a second baseman go that far into right field and that far toward the line and still throw a guy out at first base. Outstanding play.
What a play. Cliff Pennington. Horst is back out there. Parra, Pennington in the pitcher spot here. 7, 8, 9 and the D-backs 8. They lead it 2-1. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Phillies so far, 7-5. 2 of those hits by Gerardo Parra. He's got a double, a single, and an RBI. I bet it's killing Parra that Pennington got to make that throw and not him. Heath Bell warming up. Three and 1 now. Horst has now thrown 16 pitches. 10 of them have been balls. Make it 11. A Saturday soccer returns to Fox. Man City takes on Wigan in one match for the most storied trophy in England. It's the FA Cup final. Man City and Wigan. Budweiser, Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. That's a big deal. The FA Cup.
And normally you would not bunt with your number 8 hitter in the lineup with the pitcher hitting behind him, but Jason Kubel has stepped out into the on-deck circle, and there's the bunt.
Pennington gets it down. Howard over to first base. Parra moves up. Sacrifice 3-4 there. And now here's Jason Kubel against the lefty Horst.
Number 13, Jason Kubel.
Jason 1 for 4 with an RBI single in his last start. That was Tuesday night at Dodger Stadium. He is 4 for 21 since coming off the DL after missing 14 games with that quad strain. So Kubel hits for the pitcher here in the 8th. Been a busy few days for Heath Bell, that's for sure. He's worked the last 2 games. One and one. Nice catch off the ricochet by the fan. Barehanded. Two and two.
You may ask yourself why a left-handed pinch hitter against a left-handed pitcher. Well, when you look at who Kirk Gibson has available on the bench, he's not going to use his backup catcher Will Nieves to pinch hit. Josh Wilson is the only other right-handed bat. He's 0 for 1 lifetime against Horst. And Gibby feels that Jason Kubel will give him the best at bat against a left-handed pitcher. So that's why he draws this pinch hit assignment.
Plus you have the chance to, hey, let's get 2 with 1 swing right here if we can. Maybe we'll get lucky. Struck him out. FoxSportsArizona.com. All your online local sports coverage you can't find anywhere else. Check it out. Brandon McCarthy weighs in on the difficulty of protecting pitchers on batted balls. We saw what happened with Jay Happ the other day. Jack Magruder writes on Heath Bell feeling it right now as the closer getting ready to pitch the 9th here. And we talked to new Suns GM Ryan McDonough. All that right now on FoxSportsArizona.com. A.J. Pollock 1-0. AJ 0 for 3, walked back in the 5th. He's hitting .277 against lefties this year. AJ on the road trip to San Diego and LA, 5 for 18, scored 4 runs in 5 games. Two and one. Jimmy Rollins. Diamondbacks get a leadoff walk. They strand the runner. Heath Bell comes on for the 9th. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. The closer coming in. Back at Chase Field, 2-1 Diamondbacks lead the Phillies here in the ninth. The Heath Bell experience, trying to save it for Patrick Corbin here.
Heath Bell has saved the last 2 ball games, game 2 in LA and last night as well.
He has worked 3 2/3 scoreless innings over his last 3 appearances. In those 3 games, he's given up just 1 hit while striking out 4. He'll face Delman Young, Dominic Brown, and Carlos Ruiz, 5, 6, and 7 here in the Philadelphia ninth. First pitch swinging, Paul Goldschmidt. 1 pitch, 1 out for Heath Bell.
Left fielder Dominic Brown.
Dominic Brown has singled, struck out, reached, and scored on a fielder's choice. Heath Bell has had scoreless outings in 10 of his last 12 appearances, only 2 walks over that span against 17 strikeouts. Hard to right. Power gives it a chase. It bounces off the fence out there. Dominic Brown into second, tying run in scoring position here with a 1 out.
Elevated fastball out over the plate. Dominic Brown with good plate coverage gets the barrel on it, bangs it off that fence out there in right field.
Dominic Brown came into tonight only 1 for his last 18, but he has singled and doubled here tonight. Carlos Ruiz now. He singled his last time up. Ruiz this season just 5 for 31 on the year. Right field, Parra. Brown holds at second, 2 down.
Pinch hitting for John Mayberry, number 19, Lance Nix.
Lance Nix will step in and hit here, and this is trouble. Lance Nix is 7 for 15 as a pinch hitter this season, including 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. His 7 pinch hits leads the major leagues. He has been very effective in this role off the bench for Charlie Manuel. Dominic Brown, the tying run at second. 2 outs here in the ninth. Heath Bell trying to save it for Patrick Corbin. There's a strike, 0-1. Freddie Galvis would have hit for the pitcher. Chopper over the head of Bell, Didi Gregorius, and they got him. Another save for Heath Bell and the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies 2-1. They win the first of this 4-game set. And tonight they did it, Bob, with pitching and defense.
Well, those are the constants, especially the defense, and the Diamondbacks defense has been good all year, but they made some spectacular plays tonight to avoid big innings for the Phillies. Final out of the game, little chopper over the mound. Didi on the run, fires a rocket over there to Paul Goldschmidt to end this one. Heath Bell fired up, 3rd save in a row.
3 saves in 3 days for the Heath Bell experience, and the Diamondbacks have not lost a game this year that Patrick Corbin has started. They are now on the board for 20 wins this year. They are 7-0 when Patrick Corbin starts, and doing so, Patrick Corbin becomes the Diamondbacks' first pitcher to open the season with 7 straight starts of at least 6 innings and allowing 2 runs or fewer. He is our Ram Trucks Tools of the Trade.
Boy, his mechanics have been so consistent. His ability to pound away at the corners of that strike zone has been so consistent. Just supremely poised out there on the mound. Team has a lot of confidence playing behind him.
The first pitcher in Diamondbacks history to open a season with 7 straight starts of at least 6 innings and 2 runs or fewer allowed. Let's go out to a center field now. Todd and Joe.
All right.